Entry 8. I killed him with poison. Regrettably, the sensations found from murder have dulled for me, but I've never killed to sense such things. That's nothing more than self-gratification. I didn't kill my father from feeling angry or resentful, and I didn't do it to feel exhilarated. I simply took care of him. Fitting words, took care, like a household chore. I did what I had to do. Emotions, had they been present, would have been superfluous. What was crucial was to ensure the murder did not introduce problems to my life. There was nothing more important to me than the life I was to lead. A human life. One I was unable to live all the same. How ironic. But that is why I poisoned him. My father was ill at the time, presumably due to his drinking, and had to stay in bed. I, heroically, prepared my father for recovery, attended his every need, and replaced his medicine with poison. In this way, no one suspected me. Rare as it was in that town for a son to love and devote himself to his father, nobody expected any different from her child, that foolish woman's child. The drunkard died despite the boy's tragic efforts. Such was the tale I wrote for myself, and then set about my task. I could afford no mistakes regarding which poison to use. The poison could not be discovered. No evidence could remain. It had to be done gradually, over a period of months. Then I might adapt if some unlikely situation arose. I would carefully regulate the amount of poison used to prevent its symptoms from being too obvious. I was in luck. In a nearby city, even darker than the one I lived in, was a place called Ogre Street. There, I heard, was a Chinese man who traded in questionable herbs and medicines from his oriental homelands. If I used a secret poison unknown to Western medicine, I would kill my father without leaving evidence, without inviting future trouble. I, Dio, was relieved. By thinking up this simple strategy, I somehow felt I was saved. I don't want to appear sentimental, but as much as this is a diary, I hope I may indulge myself by saying this phrase: I thought I could go to heaven. Dio, no matter what happens, live nobly and with pride. If you do that, you'll surely be able to go to heaven. It was as though Mother's teachings, the wisdom I had long held as rubbish, came fully to life. That's right. I felt that killing my father, poisoning him, was a good deed done for the sake of going to heaven. It seemed to me, no, I was convinced that killing father was the most noble act I could perform, something I could take pride in. I believed that if I killed father, I would go to heaven. I believed that I would be happy and my life after would be bliss. I was certain that I would take back everything I'd lost, everything he had taken from me. How very wrong I was. From the beginning there was nothing at the start of my life's tale, of which, even now, I cannot see the end. Entry 9. As the person reading this notebook, as my yet unfound friend, you whose identity I still do not know, I have one question. Do you remember how many slices of bread you've eaten in your life? I do not. In order to maintain this immortal body, the number of lives I've had to consume is uncountable, not that I've attempted to count them in the first place. Fortunately, the lifeblood of young women restores my body the most efficiently, so they are, I believe, though I'm uncertain, the largest demographic sacrificed to my appetite. Of course, no human knows how many slices of bread they've eaten, but I remember the taste of my first one, my first slice of bread, the first life I took. Dario Brando, my father. A truly unsavory slice. I would compare it in taste to that new invention styrofoam. Murdering a man with oriental poison and getting away with it is not very satiating. Even when my father died, I felt no sense of accomplishment, only a twinge of doubt. Was it really necessary to kill him? For me, Dio, to have dirtied my hands? So I thought. The murder was in vain. With all he drank, he wouldn't have lived much longer even if I'd left him alone. He demolished his body until he couldn't live without some daily medicine. Simply refusing him his medicine, or refusing to earn the money for his medicine, might have been enough. "Forget medicine, buy me booze," he'd say. Had I obeyed, it's likely he would have died in a few years. Couldn't I have endured for that long? Perhaps I chose to kill him because I sought closure, to end my father's life with my own hands, no matter how unsavory the murder, or that by committing this act I would obtain a ticket to heaven. In that case, it would be nothing lesser than my duty to do it. Thoughts like these gave me the resolve to face the task of killing my father, but I found neither closure nor heaven afterwards. All I obtained was emptiness. My father died. He simply died, like an insect. The Oriental medicine worked remarkable miracles. He died not a day beyond the date that the Chinese peddler had predicted. And no one suspected me, least of all my father. I executed the perfect crime, without errors, without wastefulness. That I, Dio, can say it so boldly is proof of its flawlessness. For a decade my father took and stole from me. I was coerced to take it back, and yet, despite his corpse, I continued to hunger. I ate the bread, but I did not feel the least bit full. I tasted something tasteless. Hunger. That's the only sensation my father's murder gave me.